Matthew recorded for his readers and for us, he wrote, chapter 1, verses 18 to 25. This is how the birth of Jesus, the Messiah, came about. His mother Mary was pledged to be married to Joseph, but before they came together, she was found to be pregnant through the Holy Spirit. Because Joseph, her husband, was faithful to the law and did not want to expose her to public disgrace, he had in mind to divorce her quietly. But after he had considered this, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary home as your wife, because what is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins. All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had said through the prophet. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel, which means God with us. When Joseph woke up, he did what the angel of the Lord had commanded him, and he took Mary home as his wife. But he did not consummate their marriage until she gave birth to a son, and he gave him the name Jesus. Now, our candles today celebrate joy, the joy of angels bringing good news, the joy of baby Jesus being born, the joy of God's presence, the promise of his presence with us always. Joy. Jesus is a light in the darkness. And so the candles remind us there's always a light, and the darkness cannot overcome it. So what does the word joy make you think of? We could think of lots of things, but I don't have time this morning, so I chose a baby, because we're remembering the joy of the Holy Family in these candles and the birth of the baby Jesus. What is more relational than a baby? Well, my new grandson in this case. Joy is built in relationship. Joy is relational, and joy can be built with eye contact. Now, building joy is easiest with a baby. We look and smile. We look back, we smile back. And so maybe that's why so many people find it easy to connect with the picture of a mother or a grandmother and a baby. So there's my daughter Vanessa with Cyrus, and there's my consuegra, let's say my daughter's mother-in-law holding Cyrus. Everybody's there making eye contact, smiling. So brain science, neuroscience tells us that joy, the experiencing joy, impacts our identity, our sense of who we are, and our ability to recover from a crisis. Now, joy can be built through eye contact when we don't have our own self-interest. And so eye contact is hard because we live in a world where we use eye contact for our own selfish purposes. We use eye contact to intimidate people, to control people, to seduce people, to sell something to people, to scold people. Eyes can communicate. Through our eyes, we can communicate so many things. But eye contact can powerfully communicate love, respect, appreciation, acceptance, presence. It's a healthy connection. It can be. So joy is supposed to be the foundation of our being and our identity, but that's why we also need a connection with God. And if we're living our life with connection to everything and we leave out the spiritual, we're missing this great opportunity, because God of anyone is the one that's always happy to see us no matter what. May not be happy about what you're doing or what you did, but he's happy to see you. And I left my dog Fiona. You like to hear stories about Fiona? So I left Fiona for a play date. Fiona was bored. She was depressed. She's not getting all her walks and loving attention from Lisa. So I took her for a play date with some other people. And when I got there, she was so excited. Get in the car, get out. And then she realized I was leaving. And she just came to the gate and she pushed her nose through the fence and she was like looking at me like, don't leave me here. And when I came back, it was just the same. As soon as she heard my car coming down the street, she came running and, she had made these new friends, but she was so glad to see me. She had forgotten that I had left her there on her own for like 6 hours. She was just like, yes, he's back. And she'd forgotten that I don't pay that much attention to her. This morning, she was like ready to get in the car and go back to the people's house. So God is always happy to see us. And I think that's the biggest message on the night that Jesus was born. The news wasn't just announced to the shepherds, but they were being sent by God. The shepherds were being sent by God, if you know the story, to announce the good news to the baby and to the parents. Can you imagine? These shepherds came to confirm what Mary and Joseph already knew, but were really struggling to believe. And God was saying to them, I am right here with you, my son, my family. So joy in life increases when we connect with creation, creatures, and community. You like how I did that? Easy to say those words in Spanish or English. Try it. You can remember creation, creatures, and community. And so creation is nature. I bet all of you take some time to enjoy nature. You like to look out the window. You like to go outside, go to the beach. Spending time in nature is something that can refresh our hearts and restore our souls. How about connecting with creatures? And when they don't bite, right? So creatures are your pets. Maybe they're the birds in your garden or the sheep on the farm, or enjoy them. Be refreshed. Be encouraged. Connecting with community. Joy, as I said, is knowing that somebody is glad to see me. Now, I come from the American culture. I grew up in America, and I realize how easy it is in America to just turn my back to somebody and not even think about it. To see someone come in and just not even look up. It's just so much part of my culture. And I came to Latin America, and I realized it's kind of turn your back a little bit. It can be offensive. And if somebody comes in, you greet them, and you say hi, and you say goodbye to everybody all the time. I was worn out my first years in Colombia. And Colombians say hi like 5 different ways. Isn't that right, you Colombians here? It's like, hi, how are you doing? How have you been? What's going on? What's going on? And I couldn't even understand the Spanish I was learning. I said to my father-in-law, what am I supposed to say? He said, nothing. Just smile and say, how are you? How are you doing? What's going on? What's up? And so, but we connect with people. Joy is relational. We're social creatures. We're made for relationship. If you want more joy, share the little bit you have. Share it. When Jesus was born, the stars sang. The sheep gave the shepherds the night off. I mean, the shepherds went running into town. Who cared for the sheep? The shepherds shared the good news with the whole town. Creation, creatures, community. Joy comes from sharing a mutual connection. So who are you connecting with? Proverbs 12:20 says, those who promote peace have joy. So I'm not surprised it was Paul that wrote, our job is to be God's ambassadors, God's representatives, ministers, people of reconciliation. You want to have joy? Promote peace. Mary and Joseph experienced great joy just being together. Imagine the joy that Mary must have felt when Joseph chose to believe in the angel that appeared in his dream, but also to do what he understood the angel had said. Now, in today, if I came and I said, last night I saw an angel, you'd be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You think you saw an angel, right? Your experience was that you saw an angel, but I don't know if I accept that you saw an angel. And maybe some of that was in Joseph's mind. Did I really see an angel? Was it just a dream? And so he had to believe in the angel, and he also had to believe in what the angel had said. Marry her, the angel said. God is with her. Emmanuel, her baby is the promised Messiah. He will save his people from their sins. This child will restore the people to harmony with God. The Messiah, the Christ, the chosen one. You know, last night somebody called me. It was after midnight, and the phone rang, and they said, hi, the people are in the house, the police are outside, and you have the keys. And I was like, wait a minute, like your guests arrived? No, the people are in the house, you have the keys, can you go as soon as possible? And the people were robbers, they were in the house. And a friend and I keep different people's keys and check on their house when they're gone, and if they need me. And I was like, wow. Grab the keys, go over. And then later we were talking, and they said everything worked out. The robbers left. Didn't take much. And the person told me, I didn't want to tell you the whole story because what was important was just to take the keys and go. And I was looking at my message, and I was like, yeah, Joseph didn't need to know all the story. Like, what? How? Are you kidding me? An angel? And the Holy Spirit? A baby? I mean, I said, look, what was important is just, marry her and go. I wonder why God didn't send more witnesses to the birth. Maybe Elizabeth could have been chosen. I mean, she wasn't that far away. What about Anna or Simeon from the temple? Perhaps one of the men who would later be a disciple. Why not one of the priests or two of the priests from the temple to come down and save Jesus a lot of trouble later on? Like, why did God speak to the shepherds and not send some people who sort of knew what was going on to come down and say, yeah, this is true, this really happened? I wonder if God sent an angel to the shepherds because most other people would not have listened. I think his plan was more profound, but it was simple. I think God, the Father, creator of heaven and earth, just wanted to send some shepherds, these people who were invisible, unlearned or ignorant, and ignored members of society. I have to tell you, I imagine that those shepherds who were at the lowest level of society besides just, one of the lowest rungs, they were pretty invisible. I mean, who really paid attention when a shepherd went walking by, as long as they were caring for the sheep? But these guys knew how to smile, knew how to be present with a humble young family. And God was sending a gift of their loving smiles to his baby Jesus and to Mary and Joseph. And he was telling them, I know this is hard to understand and it's hard to do, but I see where you are. I know you. I know your limitations, and I love you. I am right here with you. And so I've sent the most unexpected people so that you can know I'm present. God just wanting to send a gift of joy. The God of hope sending joy and peace. He was filling that young, struggling family with the joy of the shepherds, the gifts of the mysterious magi, and the peace of the starry night sky surrounded by nothing but nature. God knew his son, and he wanted him filled up to overflowing. God knows you and me, and he wants our hearts as well to be filled with hope. We are his ambassadors, his representatives entrusted with the ministry, the work of reconciliation, reconciling ourselves and others to creation, creatures, community. So today as we come to the communion table, let's receive from God his gift of hope, filling us with all joy and peace as we trust in him. Receive to give. Breathe in, breathe out. Receive, give. As you come, I'm going to there's a Bible verse on the screen, and I want you to say this verse to yourself. Pray the verse and say it to the Lord. Lord, you make known to me the path of life. You will fill me with joy in your presence.